What's up, everyone? Tara Roberts here with 444, and we are talking running back trade targets for week 7. Before we get started, remember to like this video and subscribe. And if you want more fantasy insights and tips, head over to 444.com/plans and sign up for a subscription today. And exclusively for our YouTube audience, use promo code YouTube at checkout to save 25%. Now let's go ahead and dive right in. The first one is Derrick Henry. People will want to use this opportunity as a time to sell high on Derrick Henry. Be the buyer here. The reasons why fantasy managers want to bail out on Derrick Henry are understandable. He was outsnapped by Tyjae Spears again, and the fact that Henry can play 50% of snaps or less is kind of scary. Really less concerning than the snaps, we're used to seeing his carries well above 15 on a weekly basis. 20 or more carries is supposed to be a regular occurrence for him. Instead, we are seeing multiple games with just 11 to 13 carries, and that's just not what we want to see out of Derrick Henry. The problem isn't really Derrick Henry, though. This isn't a Derrick Henry lost a step and Tyjae Spears is just better and will push him out of the way issue. The Titans continue to play from behind, and naturally, Henry will suffer. That all sounds like bad news and definitely has you wondering, why are we trying to trade for him here? Well, Henry is still a top 12 back. A top 12 back that, despite being in his worst case scenario, is still producing as a top 12 back. And this hasn't exactly been a run-friendly schedule for him, but it is an excellent schedule for running backs moving forward. And I am recommending a Derrick Henry trade here for top contenders, 4 or 2 or better. If you're sitting at 2 or 4, this is not the trade that benefits you. It's no offense, but it's that you need somebody that will help you win now. Derrick Henry is on a bye week. He can't help you win now. Top contenders should be making a trade for Derrick Henry because his value is low right now, and the fantasy manager in your league that has him really might actually need a usable player or 2 this week. So you can grab Henry on the cheap now and reap the benefits of his schedule as the season goes on, particularly his playoff schedule, where he faces Houston twice and Seattle. This is a big move for a big payoff in the playoffs, and this is where Derrick Henry could easily be a top 5 back in every single playoff game. The next player that I want to talk about is Bijan Robinson. I never thought that we would be at a place where we would be making lowball offers on Bijan, but it's been that kind of season. Outside of one game against Green Bay, Bijan hasn't seen more than 14 carries in a game. Receiving work does help balance it out, but this has just been disappointing to see from a player that is just flat out electric anytime he touches the ball. And for some crazy reason, he doesn't even have a rushing touchdown. But Bijan is Bijan, and Atlanta has a very run-friendly schedule for the remainder of the season. It's never a bad time to trade for Bijan, and right now is a good time to grab him at value. The next player I want to talk about is Kyren Williams. Whether or not you can grab him really depends on the fantasy manager in your league that has him. We already got news that Kyren is unlikely to play this week. That kind of news this early probably means that it's going to be a multi-week absent. Nothing big and serious, but enough to just make fantasy managers panic a little bit. So swoop in and try to get him on that injury discount for a player that is literally the RB4 on the season. Kyren Williams has over 450 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, and his season honestly could have been even better if it weren't for kind of the weird up and down nature of his receiving work. And while the schedule isn't extremely easy, there are plenty of running back friendly matchups, and his playoff schedule does include Washington and the New York Giants. Kyren should return to his lead role and continue to be a league winner. The last player that I want to talk about here is Achane. We'll stay on the injury track here and buy Achane because that's a move that you can make if you are one of the top contenders in your league. The news around Achane has actually been very encouraging. This isn't an injury where he could stay on IR past the minimum of 4 games. It's actually the opposite, really. He could have been back before 4 weeks, but the Dolphins kind of felt like going on IR was just the best move for everyone.
Confirmed he will go on IR. It wasn't like a black and white decision where it was obvious. So it's in lieu of that ish timeline, but it was something that we, Chris and I knew was the best thing for the team, which always coincides with being the best thing for that particular athlete. So
Achane is the RB6 overall. That is with literally just 3 games over 40% snap count. He is averaging the highest fantasy points per game. This man is absolutely insane, and rostering him is just a straight up luxury. On top of that, People have this fear around the return of Jeff Wilson and what the offense will look as a 3-back committee. I don't really think that's going to happen. Mike McDaniel basically told us that we don't have to worry about that. Wilson wasn't activated off IR, not because he wasn't ready to go. He was good to go. But because Mike McDaniel didn't feel like he was needed by Achane and reap the ultimate benefits. And that wraps things up for this video. Thank you for watching the video. As always, be sure to like the video and comment below. And if you want more fantasy insights and tips, head over to 444.com/plans and sign up for a subscription today. And exclusively for our YouTube audience, use promo code YouTube at checkout to save 25%.